Hi guys, welcome to Confessions with Mango. If you're new here, just stay. I know. You missed me. You don't have to tell me. Today is going to be the first day of the Mango Mafia marathon. Basically, this marathon, I'm going to be posting a video every single day of confessions. Who do I like Mango? Nobody. Before we start, nails. Yeah. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on TikTok. And follow me on Instagram.
And she like, fuck it, it's too late for this. But it's not late for him. Shawty, stay away from me.
Today, I'm going to be reading confessions on Reddit. Now, I'm scared. I just know that most of you guys need medical attention. The first one. I just threw my autistic son of 30 years onto the street. No regrets. Baby, you're asking for prison. You're asking for jail time. They're gonna give it to you. Don't you worry. You sit right there. You sit right there. You sit right there. Don't even move. No, I ain't gonna call the police. No, you crazy. He is mid-high functioning. In middle school, he was, I would say, about above average. He was a math prodigy, made up his own language, aced his classes, and was a whiz. Although society stunted, then puberty hit and he stopped going outside and he started destroying his and me and the wife's property. We love him enough to let it slide though, and he lived with us along with the occasional stay at a psych ward. Yesterday, he killed our family cat after having a mental breakdown due to us trying to take his computer away after me and my wife caught him looking at anime hentai of girls who looked to be about 5. He threw my prize high school football trophy, wherein I won state, at the poor thing, causing its skull to split and his brains to spill out. I just about had it with them, wailed on them, threw him on the curb and tossed his computers and gaming systems with him, and told him if he ever came back, I would kill him. Haven't seen him since. Sir, that's your son. So none of y'all neighbors are nosy? Nobody saw you throw your son into the street? First of all, the fact that you watched him kill a cat and your first thought was to put him into the streets, the way that you saw him kill that cat and you put him into the street, into society, you're fucked up too. You're just as fucked up. That kid needs to be put away. He needs to go back to the psych. He needs to be watched. Imagine what he gonna do to a human. Look what you just did. You just created a monster. You going to jail. Today I found out what the weird whispering noise is upstairs. My fiance pretty much always has her headphones in. Loves music. She has music quite loud, so she will text me to say she got headphones in so that I don't accidentally scare her by creeping behind her, etc. If I'm going upstairs, I'll call or text her to avoid giving her a heart attack. We've learned from experience. Sometimes though, I hear odd whispering. It's like someone is yelling, but yelling. Aggressive whispering, I guess you could call it. I did the unthinkable and silently creeped upstairs to see what she was doing, what the noise was. I found her arm in arm with the cat, holding her outstretched, singing to her, whispering, singing to our cat. I've never seen something so perfect in my life. I feel like I fell in love with her all over again. I love my little family. Okay, that's cool. When I was in high school, I purposely got my girlfriend, now wife, pregnant. You see, this is the problem. This is the problem right here. You see me? You see the way I think? Y'all in high school. We were 17 and in love when our son was born. We had practiced safe sex. She was on birth control and we used condoms. I quit school to work at the steel mill with my dad and provide for my family. At 18, I asked her to marry me and she said yes, and we've been together ever since, 12 years ago now, and have 3 children together. But she didn't know until recently is that I poked a hole in the condom. She was the most beautiful girl I'd ever met, and I wanted to be with her forever. And in my fucked up teenage head, poking a hole in the condom was the way to ensure that she'll be in my life forever. Years later, I realized how shitty that was, especially since it worked. So I told her the truth. She laughed and said, I wasn't ever on birth control. I lied. Then we both laughed. I guess we trapped each other, and we're both shitty people. God, I love her. First it went here, then it went there, then it went here. Now we had a happy ending. Man, I hate love. I pity fucked a dying classmate in high school. Back in sophomore year, a classmate, he was a junior, who I knew since the 4th grade, was diagnosed with cancer. The whole school supported him and showered him with love. He went into remission by the summer. Unfortunately, almost a year later, the cancer came back and he was dying. Everyone, including the teachers, ghosted him. I guess they felt uncomfortable being around the kid who was about to die in a few months. He graduated and I actually connected with him through his only friend over the summer. At that point, I knew I was a lesbian. I preferred to hang out with guys. I was very girly, by the way. As he got sicker, he asked me to fuck him. I was turned off. I never even kissed the guy. I thought long and hard about and agreed. I had sex with him 4 times. The last time I gave him head which I didn't like. I got no pleasure from any of it. I just did it because I felt sorry for him. I'd want someone to do the same for me if I were in his shoes. The oddest part was his whole family knew, and I had classes with his sister. He died in August, and I've had mixed feelings ever since. Well, girl, you just doing charity work. I think you could write that on your taxes. No, too much? Okay. My dad's best friend is so hot. That's basically it. He's hot as fuck. He's married. His wife likes to show him around, or that's the impression I get when she comes with him. He has never flirted with me, nor have I. The closest thing to that is that whenever his wife comes, where she'll be like, hey Brenda, check out my husband's abs. They're amazing. That's all that happened, and that's all will probably happen. I just needed to tell someone about this. Okay, you're obsessed with your best friend's dad. I guess that's normal. Cool. Someone said, just curious, how old are you and how old is he? She goes, he's obviously beekeeping age. Oh, that's great. I had an abortion at 19 when the man 28 I thought loved me turned out to be a serial impregnator of over 14 women. This is too much. This is too much. No. These are Reddit confessions. When I was 19, I met a 20-year-old Army vet who seems to be an amazing guy. We got on really well, and I was so shocked at how much we had in common. What do you have in common with a 28-year-old? You're 19. You just started coming out. What do you have in common with a 28-year-old? This man is about to be on his deathbed. Girl, you delusional. That's the problem. Everything was going really well, to the point we would visit each other often. He lived 2 hours away and made efforts to visit me. I did everything right. I waited to have sex. We had several successful dates, etc. And one day he even asked to meet my parents to ask to marry me. And you believed him. You dummy. He was honest about having a kid and have been previously married, and he seemed extremely forthcoming. One day I discovered I was pregnant and he seemed really happy, and I was really unsure, but he assured me that we would be good together as parents. I visited him a day after the news, and his energy shifted entirely when he got a call from a woman named Elizabeth. I started having a strange feeling during this call, which he had stepped out to take. I started looking through his stuff and found an army duffel bag. Inside, I found his ID and his marriage certificate to Elizabeth. I started feeling upset and wondering why he still is talking to his ex. Upon his return, I didn't say anything and waited till he dropped me home because I knew I had no other way back. He started denying that they talk in a romantic sense, but I wasn't buying it, so I found her on Facebook and messaged her. What do you message? Y'all be losing focus. I gotta hold a class. I gotta hold a hot girl coach class. This don't make no sense. My entire world broke when she replied and told me that they were still married and she was in fact deployed while he was busy cheating with me. She then told me not to be flattered by anything he said because I wasn't the only girl, and proceeded to show me. Oh, not the wife okay with being a side. Not the wife being okay with being a side dish. And not the main entree. Wow, we have 16 idiots in this story. We have you, the one that you thought that you had so much in common with a 28-year-old that you didn't know he was really married. The wife, because she told us something.
You're not the only one, so sweetie. Don't listen to him.
Lady, and you still with him. And then the other 14 women. So that's sick. Yeah. I hope my dog passes away. Y'all don't deserve pets. I gotta call Peter. What the dog do to you? I feel like the worst human alive for feeling this way, but every night I hope my dog passes in her sleep. And it breaks my soul to admit this. She's over 19 years old, and she has been slowly declining in health for the past few years. Her body is shutting down, but her spirit is as strong as ever. And oh, such a spirit she has. I've had dogs all my life, but she is truly one of a kind. She is so smart and possessing of so much personality. She's always been such an independent girl, and I know it must be slowly breaking her spirit to require so much care. She's often struggled to walk. She can no longer get up from a laying position without help. She can no longer support her own weight. When relieving herself, I have to support her. She often has to be carried from place to place where myself or anyone else is not around. She would be unable to get food and water and would be left laying in her own waste. Her care taking a toll on my physical condition, as she is not a small dog at 50 pounds. I have a spinal cord condition, and that results in extreme back pain. Every day I dread it will be the tipping point in my ability to take care of her. Okay, when you put it like that, then you just gotta put that dog to rest, baby. Let that hoe go. The Ford police SUVs are so sexy. Whenever I'm driving, I see one sometimes, and something just comes over me. My fear of law enforcement is non-existent now. I'm only a car person for police SUVs. Maybe I should speed more often. Why? Okay. We got the father that threw his autistic kid into the street. Then we have lesbian friend having pity sex with the dying friend. We got the one that wishes death on her dog. And now we have someone that gets aroused by a police SUV. This is a very special group. Someone said, if you drive a white Explorer or Crown FIC and you aren't a cop, F you. Someone replies, so true, they don't count. Cool. My best friend died from an allergic reaction, and I'm wondering if he suffered. Well, if he's dead, I don't think it was a peaceful ending. Smartass. It happened in summer 3 years ago. He was a close friend, but we lived pretty far away from each other, and during this time we've exchanged conversation online. There was a heat wave, and I remember it was really hot during that day, and also really hot during the nights. So I was up until early hours of the morning. As a couple of weeks before my friend died, he started saying things I thought were odd and a little out of character of him. He told me whenever he drinks water, his throat and tongue swell up. And he said he wondered if someone was poisoning him. I asked him to try bottled water, and he said the same thing happens, and he's confused. He told me he bought some milkshakes to drink, and he's fine with those. Probably stress of the heat wave coupled with dehydration, I thought. One night, he told me he woke up sweating and really dehydrated, but he forgot he'd run out of milkshakes to drink and needed to buy more. But the store he usually got them from was closed. During the early morning hours, he told me he was going to have to drink water and go to sleep. That was his last message. I tried calling his house, but no reply. Even if he's asleep, he answers the house phone. After a couple hours, I got really worried. I eventually called his family, who then called the police, and he was found dead in his bed. It took some time for me to find out what the cause of the death was, but apparently he was found with his throat and tongue so swelled up that he wouldn't have been able to breathe. Damn. I don't think your title had made sense if you found out that he died because he couldn't breathe because his tongue was swollen and clogging his throat. So I don't think it was a peaceful death. It's not as if angels came in his room and sung him a couple songs as he was dying. I don't. Do you understand what I'm saying? He did not get the Queen Elizabeth special. What did you think was happening? My childhood bully died, and I felt amazing. There was a time in secondary school, middle school through high school, where I was 22M and was relentlessly picked on for being a fat kid and for my looks, and afterwards just for even existing when I eventually managed to lose weight. I had very few friends who were often not in my class group, so I'd rarely get to see them, and I was often surrounded by people who barely acknowledged my existence at the best time and would just be reminded of how low I was on the food chain at the worst of times. I've been punched, kicked, pinched, called names, taken photos of, to have shared around, and just made miserable. People always say school years are supposed to be the best years of your life, but I can confidently say I don't miss one bit. One of my bullies, Ben, would pretty much constantly find an excuse to make fun of my face, my teeth. I don't think I've smiled in front of anyone since I was 12, starting with just stupid names like Rabbit. Of course, when that annoyed me, he'd escalate, kick my chair, trip me up, and tug on my hair. Then that led to pushing and kicking, and I retaliated physically. He'd have at least 3 or 4 others with him to back him up and beat me down. I wasn't a big kid back then, and I was a late boomer. Eventually, all the years of bullying and lack of help got to me, and I just fell into a depressive spiral. My grades, okay, this is a lot. I'm not even gonna lie, I thought this was just it. I screenshotted this. It's no way I'm gonna find the rest of this damn story. Your childhood bully died and you felt amazing. I understand that right now you're like, yeah, fuck you, you did all that shit to me. But they died, and you said you felt amazing. I think there's something, maybe me personally, I would evaluate myself into a mental institution. That's just me though. Okay, this was a very interesting group. I don't think I'm ever gonna read a Reddit confessions again. These are special. Most of you guys belong in jail. You guys aren't human. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure you guys give me a like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you guys follow my Instagram. Stay tuned for the next confession video because we post videos all day, every day, all week long.
And she like, fuck it, it's too late for this. But it's not late for him. Shawty, stay away from me.